GM. GM New Year. We're getting close. A couple hours left, depending on where you are as I record this. Well, by the time you listen to this, it's probably already New Year. So Happy New Year, GM. What do I want to talk about today? 2024. Looking back is useful, but looking forward is what we must always do. The markets are forward looking, and so must we be. And as I'm going towards 2024, I'm thinking about plans for the new year, obviously, as we all are, as we all should be. And I think the purpose of this lesson is going to be a bit different. It's not really a lesson, it's just a reminder. I want you to put very serious consideration in your yearly plans into remaining bullish no matter what. And that might sound a little bit kind of contrary to how you might think I would speak within trading, because of course traders must always be open to changing their opinion and changing their bias and flipping from long to short and whatever. But I'm going to let you in on something. That's not how you maximize a bull market, right? As a trader, your trading skills are going to help you get in low and get out high, all being well. It will help you maximize your exits in the bull market. But if you think too much like a trader and you're too day-to-day focused and zoomed in, you will more likely than not underperform your expectations or even lose money. So we're approaching a point, and let me just put it this way. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that everything is aligning for possibly the biggest bull market we've ever had. So if that happens, you don't want to trade it, right? It's not about catching quick moves. It's not about taking, 2-hour profit. It's really not about that. If you want to do that, if you want to trade, you can trade. Feel free to trade. But remember my main advice about portfolio construction. Put 10% of your portfolio into trading and keep the rest invested with a higher time frame view. Sorry about that. Just knocked something over. Keep it invested with a higher time frame view, right? Spot only, long only. You know the plan. And I can't stress it enough. It is really, really, really important. The reason I say this is because there's a different way to view a bull market than there is to view just any other period of trading. And best way to describe it that I can think of is you want to treat the year as if it was a trade, right? And so what that means is your year itself has a potential of being, let's call it, 2 or 3 or 4 times bigger than a regular year. Because of that, we don't get them very often. And if we are lucky enough to get it, then you must take on that year. So when I say treat the year like a trade, it is have a maximum risk you're willing to take for the year and treat that risk as your drawdown for the year and put your money into your positions for the year, right? This is what I do. So you have to be okay with holding through volatility. You can't obsess about closing your position and reopening your position and closing your position, trying to catch tops and bottoms and, get out at the top and wait for a pullback and get back in, and it's not going to work for the vast majority. Being in is the most important thing. And then on top of that, if you can time it and you can use your systems well and you can make money on top, then very good. My 2024 plan will show you all about that, about spot versus leverage and when to use it. But for 99%, the vast majority, basically everyone here, all your money should not be put towards leverage. You should realize that this is the moment where the market can do the work for you, and you should focus on spot only, but with maximum conviction. Now, as traders, we think in terms of risk reward. So you might say to me, wow, Michael, this sounds crazy. You're just saying basically get long and pray it goes up. No. First of all, you can do whatever you want. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And I don't know if it's going to be a bull market, but it's got all the signs of it. And so it's just like any trade. I would estimate 80-90% probability that we have, full bull market conditions next year. So if I had an 80 or 90% trade, I would treat that trade the exact same way I would treat any high conviction trade. I would place the trade with my maximum permissible risk, right? Not 100%, never 100%. But I would size that one more aggressively than I would size a 30% win rate trade. Yes? So the time for being cautious is not this year. The time for being patiently aggressive is this year. And aggression simply means spot long with conviction. Absolutely nothing about leverage means that you're aggressive. No. It means keeping your chips on the table. So last year, 2022 and 2023, I would frequently go full cash, 100% cash, right? Because it wasn't bull market conditions. If I went back into crypto and I bought a few altcoins or bought Bitcoin and I traded it up and then I wanted to get out, I would get out and back to cash. That's what I would call regular trading. That's how you should trade 80% of the time. But 20% of the time we have a bull market condition. And that is not my approach for the next year, two, however long it goes. I don't know. As long as Bitcoin's below all-time high, this is my approach. Fully invested at all times, spot. With new capital coming in, so new cash, I get money every month, every week, right? Depending on trading profits or from other sources of income. That's always ready to get put in as well. And if I want to keep some, if I want to keep 10%, like you can, and you want to have your trading funds, whatever, you can keep some in cash, but with the purpose of buying leverage dips. But you might not get this opportunity, maybe ever again. Because if the institutions come this time, which I think they are, if the institutions are coming, they will never come again. Right? This is the last bull run. If the institutions come. If the ETF thing starts off and goes beyond Bitcoin into Ethereum and into alts, and you see BlackRock and JP Morgan all starting to either partner with crypto projects or launch their own, that's it. We're done. We've got a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, however long the bull run goes. We will never have crypto volatility returns like that again. Crypto won't die. Crypto will only get bigger. But once the institutions are in, there is nobody else to come in. At that point, like I've been saying to everyone, the only people left on the sideline is the average person who didn't realize that they need to own digital assets. And they will eventually come, they will buy our bags, but after that, you're not going to see 100x returns. You're not going to see 50. You're not even going to see, if the whole market grows by 2x over 10 years, that'll be huge. But that means we have potentially the biggest capital injection and mass adoption ever coming. That's on the table. That's potential. If that is the case, you don't want to be 50% cash and 50% crypto. It has to be 100% crypto. Now, that is not a call for reckless, right? Far from it. Far from being reckless. If you've got capital sitting on the sidelines right now, today, fucking midnight at New Year's Day on 1st of January, it's okay to keep that if your system tells you that there's a correction coming in the next few weeks and you want to buy in lower and you want to save some money to buy in near the 200-day moving average or whatever. But you must have a plan, in my opinion, and certainly I can only speak for myself. I have a plan for every single dollar I have, and it is not to have it in dollars. It's also not to buy the top, so I won't buy something when it's pumping, but I'll wait for a pullback. I will not expect the pullback to be very deep. I have a sort of a feeling that a 20% pullback is quite a deep pullback this cycle. And a 50% pullback on an altcoin is a deep pullback. Whereas before, it would be like a 40% pullback on Bitcoin and a 80% pullback on an altcoin, or a 70%. For good projects, 40%. I think 50s might get front round. Some will go 50. Whether it does or not is not the question. The question is getting in and understanding that if this is the time, you need to be exposed. Because the regret, you've heard about this. You hear about this from Tate talking about this is the last time to make big money, next 2 years. You hear from me and from Adam and from everyone saying like, we're literally, the fiat system is just fucking going into overdrive and it's about to collapse. They can't just keep printing money forever. They can't just keep ignoring inflation. They can't keep delaying recessions. But they are doing it now. And if all of this ends with a mass adoption of crypto, because it's a pushback against the fiat system, you don't want to be there on the sidelines afterwards saying, oh, well, everyone did tell me, and I didn't listen. So you manage your risk by not using leverage. Crypto is very forgiving. That's what you do. Do not use leverage. If you need to use leverage, it's a skill issue. If everything can go 10x, you don't need leverage, right? Because that will be even worse. Take yourself out of the game by over-leveraging. Terrible. And if you do that, if you just form a base and say, 2024 is going to be a big year, right? Potentially massive. And if it's not, which is a possibility, if it ends up not being a bull, completely bull market, it was all a trap, it's all, we're fucked, no bull market, then you chalk it up to a trade. The odds of 2024 being big were huge. I took the right bet, and the bet didn't work. That's my approach, right? Which means not, but again, this is why it's spot. There is no world in which I can lose all my money. It's not possible. If I'm completely wrong about this entire thing, and there's no bull market, I'll lose probably 40%, 40. Not even 50, not 100. How do you ask? Well, because I have bought stuff lower. I'm in profit at the moment. It would have to go down 80% to put me down, right? Because it's already up 2, 3, 4, 5x this year already. You cannot do the same if the market is up and you're not in. Do not buy the top. Do not buy when it's too high if you've got nothing in. Because you don't want to ever put yourself in a position where you can lose everything. Not at all. But I think the only sensible allocation going forward is fully long crypto after either now or the next correction. And I think even more than that, focus on the majors and then give a weight towards your alts. Do not neglect Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. They're going to do a lot better than people think, because if the institutional adoption comes, it's going to come there first. And altcoins, yes, give a nice weighting to altcoins. Don't use so many. Fewer is better. Keep earning money every month, because we're not there yet. There's still time. There's still time to buy in every month. I still think we see lower prices at some point. I think if Solana can go below 100, Ethereum can go below 2k. Maybe, maybe not. Don't know. I tend to think it could. Anything can happen. Bitcoin can go below 40 for sure, right? I just don't think they will, but they could. But you have to ask yourself, Are you in a position to maximize it if it goes well? It's okay to be in a position where you don't lose if it goes down. But is not losing winning? Not losing is not winning. Not losing means you didn't lose money, but you didn't win. If you're not in the game, you can't win. And so ask yourself, and this is one for everybody, and I'll finish with this. This is one for you to honestly ask yourself. Can you deal with losing if you're wrong? Right? If you let's say you put $5,000 in, the whole thing's totally wrong. 2024 is a failure, and we end up down 40% at the end of the year. And you say, okay, was wrong about 2024. I've now got $3,000. Right? You lose 40%. Can you deal with that? Flip the other side. You stay on the sidelines in cash, and you're hesitant, and everything goes 10x. Yeah, everything. Like Bitcoin's not going to go 10x in a year, right? That's probably a bit crazy. So Bitcoin goes 3x, but altcoins go 50x. Some of them go 20x. Others go 10x. On average, if you bought, some Bitcoin, some altcoin, maybe your portfolio would have been 6x in next year. And then it goes again 2025 because we're in a massive bull run. This is the reality. It's so hard to trade profitably long term, consistently. But every now and then, pretty much every 4 years, a bull market comes along that allows you to just do nothing and make money. I know it seems crazy, it is disbelief, but this is what we have currently, and the signs are it's going to continue. So I urge everyone to abandon their disbelief and their bearish bias for 2024. Then sit down and do your plan for 2024. Don't just blindly take what I've said. Listen to what I say. Compare it against your notes, against your beliefs, your thoughts. And then just simply ask yourself, what if? What if it's actually bigger than I thought?